All right, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. So, I think, yeah, I guess so. It all got deterred by the rain the Saturday morning. Because we were supposed to start at 10, right? Yeah. Okay. So from when I talked to Ramiro, he basically said what we want to do today is just kind of sort of a workshop to improve the TicTacToe problem. Did anybody do anything with this template? Any crazy ideas?
Well, not really, but when we were checking our horizontal and verticals,
Yeah.
I noticed that last time we talked about that it would check, like if it's not empty or return is winning, regardless of whether it's X or O. So then I set a second statement, and I set it equal to O or X. But now I'm thinking that it's going to check it and it's going to return to me false, true, or true, false.
Oh, for each, because you're checking just each, I guess, cell.
No, well, I'm doing what we did, but instead of checking if it's empty, I'm asking it to check if there's O's.
Okay.
And then I set up another one and I'm asking it to check if there's X's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, which I actually did that. Let me get back to. So kind of looks like that a little bit. That's, let me get to the diagonal. Sort of like that, you're checking each cell that is equal to X, equal to X, equal to X, or equals to O. Is that sort of what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of, but I was doing it with the vertical and horizontal.
Oh, okay, yeah, up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he brought up a good point, how it'll return true, but it won't tell you who won.
Yeah, and because I sent a couple of these lines of code to Ramiro about that, and he said that it's okay if it just returns true, because you just want the methods to return something. You don't want it to say anything yet, because eventually you use that true statement to make the program keep running and some other methods. So, because I initially had it up here, let me see if I can go up. Right here. I think I initially had it so that if this evaluated to true, I would put you have a horizontal line that checks, else continue playing. But that is not necessary yet, because that can be outside of the method, I believe. Let me go back. So, any ideas on how to, besides that one? Because that makes sense, because right now the way it's set up right here, I believe you can just do 0x0 and it will return true, right? For example, if the board has a horizontal line and the horizontal line has an X, as an O and an X, it will say true, and that's not how TicTacToe is played. So yeah, in order to fix that bug, we can do what we just talked about. And let me see, in this case, it would be, I would change this to equals equals. I can just copy the whole line down here.
So I'm thinking, instead of doing an if statement,
Yeah.
can't we just do,
Which if statement?
oh, you're doing or, okay, see, I didn't set it up as or.
Yeah, because what this method does, it
It'll
check this first expression right here, and it says false, but then, oh, whatever it is.
So
And then it checks the other one.
True, true, false.
Right.
Okay. So you literally just needed to check. So I'm guessing in the win question mark method, this one we'll have to figure out who won the game.
Yeah. Or probably in the win method, what is going to happen is you're going to combine all four horizontal, vertical, diagonal one, diagonal two. You're going to combine all four into that one method so that it checks each one. And if any of those returns true, then there's a win. I guess a smaller exercise before then, because that probably is a little bit above my pay grade to teach you correctly. Let's see, on check horizontal is asking for a parameter. I'm thinking there's probably a better way so that it checks everything without you setting a parameter, because right now the way it's set up is if you want to check if there's a win, you have to check first row, then second row, then third row. So how would you make the program check all three by itself automatically?
A while loop?
Yes. And how would that look like? Because right now, I guess the easy way to think, well, the easiest way to think about it is that we're looking at the index, right? So the index is telling this code right here which row to look at. So how do we manipulate that index so that it iterates through each one automatically?
So we'll do I equals 0.
Okay.
We can do a while loop. While I is less than 4 dot length. Do that check. So if it checks these, it's going to return true. So I guess we can set it as a false to begin with before the while loop.
Mm-hmm.
So then if it does return true, then it'll make it true, right?
Yes. So what do you want to name that variable? I'm going to do a check. Oh, it's kind of like what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, is everybody following so far? You have,
What do we have to increment?
Yep.
While and then we'd have to check equals to true. If it does, it's coming in.
yep. Well, this actually, I believe this sits outside, right? Or is that in the right place? Let me see.
Yeah, because every time you're doing the loop, you're increasing by 1.
Yep.
Because or else if you set it outside, it'll just add 1 to it, and it just,
And then,
since 1 is maybe you get an infinite loop.
right.
Would we do the same for the vertical?
Yep, so do we think this is gonna work? I believe I can spot right now there's one mistake. Does anybody knows what's happening?
True.
See.
What is that doing?
So this right here is checking that if either of these statements are true, then it's going to change this variable to true. And so eventually what we want to do is actually, I can do it explicit right here. It says return check, so that the whole method returns that one variable. Also up here, we want to take this out because we're not passing any parameters. And I think that'll work, but I'm not sure, so let me test it real quick. Hold on. I'm sure there are way more sophisticated ways to test it, but I just came up with mine. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. All right. Okay, so right now, what I'm doing down here is instead of going through the IRB and typing everything every time, I just coded it into the program. So I'm instantiating the new board, and then I'm doing the turns right here. Like I said, I'm sure Ramiro has a way better way of doing that, but at least we can see like visually in the command prompt if things are working. So right now we're just testing the horizontal that we just modified. So let me copy this out. So we just get this. And let's play just a horizontal one. So that would be, let's see, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then this one probably needs to be 0, 2.
Are you making it excellence?
What's that?
Are you making it excellence?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me take this out so that I don't get any conflicting issues. So I think I got X, yep, X top row, right? It looks like. So let's test that out. I think it's forward, yeah. True. So yeah, it's returning the true value. And then we can test that differently so that, say, I change that to an O. Let me switch them around.
Present, if you put 2 in there, should we always see that kind of method?
Put what?
If you do a board that play _O and you put 0, 2.
Well, we took that. I'm sorry.
I don't know if we took that out, because I think we were talking about that being a potential bug.
Oh no, the method that method still exists up here. Let me see. This one right here. Is that what you're talking about? Or
No, I mean, okay, so X already has a marker at O2, right? What if it's O's turn and O puts a marker in O2? What happens then?
oh, I think we wrote that check when we were here last time. So it would say it's not your turn, or please choose a different location if it's their turn and they're putting in something that is already, yeah, used up. So I think it's, let's see, yeah, see, it's inside the,
Okay, inside.
yep. So right now, what I did is I changed one of the characters so that the top row is full, but it's different characters. So let's see if that works as well. And let's see what happened. So something happened here, right? Yeah, we're getting a true return, but that is not right. Should be false.
Is it because you are setting check to be true? You're not telling it to check if it is true.
Yes, that's right. So every time it iterates through each index, it's just changing that to true, regardless of what's happening here. So yeah, that's right. So how would we write this? Yep. All right, let's see if that works. Yep, now it returns false. Now let's make sure that the other condition works, which is if it's right. So let me go back and change that. True. Yep. Yep, it's very good. So yeah, like you said, we can now apply that same code to the vertical with a slight variation. Does anybody know what that variation would be?
Instead of I0 in J's, we're setting
We're setting one?
Instead of having your board at a set array
Mm-hmm.
and I guess like an unknown subarray, now you're setting, okay, no, okay. Unknown array, known subarray. Now you're doing known, yeah, now we're doing known array, unknown subarray. So now we're iterating over the subarrays to check.
Yeah.
Or not.
So what does that mean in the code?
You basically just copy the same thing and flip the I to the other side and pop the number to the first side.
Yep. That's right.
That's what you.
No, that's definitely fine. In this case, it will be J, so I'm changing everything to J. So 0. I'm almost positive there's like a really elegant way of like going through each one. You know what I mean? Without having to explicitly. And I'm very curious, you know, to see it.
The drawback we can't see when you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know where he's thinking either.
Pizza. I know that. Actually, what I had for breakfast, believe it or not.
infamous bacon mac and cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a smoked green mac and cheese with bacon, tomatoes, and basil. It's their favorite cast iron pan.
Nice. Yeah, I need to go there. I haven't been. All right. So let me take out this. And now we can check for both. And so let's see what we got on the board. We got up top, and then we probably can make this one the vertical. Wait, no, this is what we got. Yep. So I'm just gonna copy some of these. So X would be 1, 2. Oh, we can just play, 0, 0, no, 1, 0. And then the last one would be 2, 2. Okay. Oh, see what we got. Undefined method. Maybe I didn't save. Let's try it again. Nope. 96. Undefined method plus for nil class. That's interesting.
J, I plus equals 1 to J.
Nice. Okay. Yep. So, oh, I played the wrong spots. Let's see. I guess we need one more play up here. Okay, let's see. Zero or O would be 1, 1, and then 1, 2. Okay. Yep, takes good. And eventually, like this is very rudimentary testing, but that's something that you'll encounter eventually. There's actually like a whole new system that tests programs, and that's essentially what you will do. You will create dummy data that is kind of what is going on up here, and you actually write code that will test other code, just expecting results. So no matter how you change the code, you just want to get the results of that code. But that is something that I haven't even like grasped completely. Let's see. Any other ideas of right now that have popped up, maybe that you have thought of that we could do?
You could do the same, use the same tool. Well, to check diagonal.
I don't know. Let's try it out. What are you thinking?
You would just specify which index in each ray to check. There's only two possible ways to do it, so you just specify each one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you need a while loop though, right? Because there's only, yeah, it's only one.
It's already predefined.
Yeah. So you have, yep, you just have one item that you don't have to iterate through.
Can we combine both diagonals into one method?
I'm sure you can.
Automatic.
I'm sure you
Well,
can.
there's only one way to win, right? That's a diagonal. Win both ways.
Yeah, I mean, let's take it small steps and see what we can do. You did both in one?
I did, but I haven't.
You haven't tested it?
I haven't tested it.
Well, let's try it out.
But I did the same. Okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, I touched it.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's good sometimes to just kind of like mess up and see why it's not working. So what do you got?
I just copied the code from the chat, vertical or horizontal, either one.
Okay, let's try this one. And make this a little bit easier.
And then I don't know if we need a while loop, so I haven't gone that far, but just the boards, I just changed those to each specific.
Right. So in your code, you don't have this while loop yet?
No.
Okay, so just, it's probably just this. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is right. But this will be just one, right? The first one will be,
0, 0, 0, 0 for the first one.
okay.
And then 1, 1. And 2, 2.
Yep.
And then for the bottom, I have 0, 2. And I changed the O's to X's. And 1, 1, and
Okay.
for the last one, 2, 0.
Got it.
Yeah, check it. X1 either than.
Right. Yep. And that is only checking for X,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I think, let's see. So how would we implement O in this code?
I would use the second to check that out too. But I would do two separate.
Methods? Hmm?
Can we get it?
What would we be doing with if? Yeah, this is one of those things that I think there's like several solutions. So let's try some out.
So we just need to return true, right? We don't need it to return who actually won. So if we can do an if that board or the same board but with those is true, then we'll set the check equal to true like we did before.
Okay.
So can return the check.
Okay. So let's see. You want
That in itself is one argument.
Mm-hmm.
We'll set another or to the second argument, which is the same one as that, but with those instead.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think
Too much code.
I don't think there's such a thing. I think like you can have a lot of code. Eventually, when you get experience, you want it to be efficient, right? But we're not gonna get there if we don't know what's going on. But I think And I'm just guessing at this point, just to
Right.
try it. Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure.
And then I believe what you're saying is then you do another or
Yeah.
with the second expression, checking for, yeah, with, and instead would be O's.
Instead of check, you go to false.
Well, I don't think you need,
Maybe
you don't need a variable, right? Because you're just checking, you'll be true or true or true or true. So if anything is true,
it's only gonna return one if it's an or.
yeah, I mean, it's just going to evaluate the whole code, right?
Yeah.
So if everything comes out false, everything evaluates to false. So I don't think you need, yeah. But we can test it because I may be completely wrong. So
I
let's
just
see.
thought about it, I think you're right. Because the or will evaluate to a simple truth.
Right,
And then we just needed to know if it's true or not.
Right.
That works.
right. All right, so it's just diagonal. We have to change this right here. We're testing either direction, right? So either direction should work. All right. Kind of lost, so I'm just gonna start over. So 0, 0. Then we're gonna do 1, 0. I'm gonna make X win. One, 0. X is 2, 2. And then O can be just 1, 2. All right. All right, it's coming up as true for the diagonal. So it's checking that, yep, this statement is true in one of the expressions that we did up here. And let's change it up so that it's O's. So let's see. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Yep, it's also coming up as true. And I believe that code works to check for either one. Let's see. Yeah. Which is, I hadn't thought about that, honestly. Okay. And so, yeah, that's cool that it combines both of them.
If we were able to combine the two diagonals, you think we could combine the horizontal and the vertical?
Let's see. I'm sure you can. How will we do it? Let's see.
So I think, could we do it just to checks? Like if you put the two while loops into a.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Put the two while loops inside the same method, and then they both point to the same variable. so that if any of the two while loops affect that variable, then you just return that variable. Is that what you're talking about?
Because I was thinking we could do it the same way we did with the check, where we would have the whole while condition as one statement, or I forgot what the term that we use for it is. But then it's too much code for a statement, so then the only two things they have in common is the check. So since we only need to know there is a win, then we can say if check equals I guess if check equals true or true. Is that, no, I don't think I'm thinking about it that way. Because each check is getting a true or false, right? So how would you do an if condition using your true or falses?
Well, I think
we're getting to,
I think you're on the right track, but the problem on a personal level for me is like if you just think about it, you easily get confused because you're not the computer, so you can't keep track of it. So let's try it out. Let's do combined.
Wait, how did you get it
to right here on the left where the line numbers are? You see there's tiny triangles show up every time you have like a closing, like you have class and or def and or if and. You can just minimize those if needed. Let's see. So let's try, I guess, the crude way, right? Which would be copying the loops that we already have set, just right here. So I'm just gonna copy that. And again, disclaimer, I don't know if it's gonna work either. So I'm just trying it out with you guys. So there it is. And then we can just recopy that. And let's try to figure out what are the problems. Like I would just take this out right here because that's repetitive.
So we're copying everything up to the return check.
Yes, everything that was inside the other method. So this is the initial idea, right? We're talking about having the two while loops. Well, actually, I'm just going to copy the other one. That way I don't have to manually change all of that. Let's see, vertical.
What was the one thing you said was repetitive?
The index setting.
But it won't be anymore because you have using J for a vertical.
Okay, let's grab that then. Do we want to grab this again?
The check equals false?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because
I don't think yours is preset on it.
Right. Okay, so I think we can just put it up here. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. What's happening is that there's a first loop.
Would you still want it to be two separate loops though? Oh, it is. Sure.
Yeah, it is right now, but that's a good question. Let's see. Yeah, you do.
We return both checks? Yeah, right.
No, because you only want it to return one.
Yeah. Yeah, you only really need one. Yeah. I mean, That's a good question, right? Because like, what if you want to? I guess in tic-tac-toe it wouldn't matter because you only need one for win. But say you had, for some reason, you ended up with two different values, right? You have one row that has all X's, then the other one has all O's, right, at the bottom of the grid. Then
Yeah.
you only getting one true, I believe, because you only have one variable. So if you wanted to keep track of how many,
Is it possible
I think
that
you need several variables.
in our program you could win by having 3 X's on the top row and 3 O's at the bottom row? Like, does it check at the end of each turn who's winning?
Yeah, no, it's not.
So,
Right.
okay, so that's something we should.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the idea of this, right? That little by little you start discovering that there's way more problems, and then you code it in. Because you're right, you could fill this board up right now in a way that there's two wins, and that's nonsense in tic-tac-toe, right? So yeah, you want to check. You probably want to have a check every time somebody plays. Check if win. If no win, continue. Then on and so on, so that when there's a win, it just stops the program. And in fact, I sent a message to Ramiro, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you should just do this." And I'm like, "Okay." Right. I'm sure it's pretty easy once it's done, but it's that jump getting there. Now let's see if this is working the way that right now we're intending it to work.
So I have an I equals 0, so equal 0, or check this if one is false. We have a while loop for horizontal.
Let me well, let's add some comments. So this is horizontal, right? Or is it vertical? Let's see. That's vertical, yeah. Okay. So if any of this is true, it will modify that variable to true. So we're checking for horizontal. I think this is not necessary right here because we already have it. We already have it here. Yep. Let's see. And if any of this is true, it would modify to be true, and then we just return check, and we have two different indexes because we want to.
Because there's no way you can win by having both a horizontal and a vertical, right? If you think about tic-tac-toe, you can't.
Yeah, they'll intersect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we really only have one return.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let's give it a shot. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add that. I think it's. What does our board look like right now? Okay, so let's see what I can change. I can just make this one win. 1, 2, or actually this one. So I'm gonna play X on 1, 2. No, 0, 2. Play O and 0, 1. That think I can win there. It's hard for me to keep up. Let me try to start over. It's like what messes me up is the turns. I can't just do 3x's and then let it be. Let's see. 0, 0, 1, 0, x 0, 1. So then 0, 2. All right, let's look at that. So we're getting true, there's a horizontal, false, no vertical, false, no diagonal, and then true for the combined. So I think it might work, actually.
So then we can just get rid of the check, horizontal, vertical checks.
Yep. Yeah, and so I think, I'm not sure, I think like that's what they call refactoring, you know, where like you have code and then you kind of modify so that it's compact and more functional. Let's see what we got. How much time we got? Half hour? Okay. All right, let's see. Any other ideas of what we can do or attempt to do? See what we got, the win method that he wants us to fill out. So what do you guys think the win method would do?
Well, it's gonna check if there's a true either in our diagonal or combined.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's gotta check who won, right?
You could. I mean, it's not. I guess that's why I was asking, because you know, the sky's the limit. So if you wanted to do that, you could, I believe. Yeah. How would that happen?
So would you check the returns of both methods, right? Can you do that? Is that too complicated? Is that possible?
No, it is definitely possible. I just don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't know how to properly deploy it. Let me see.
Well, the bottom, when you're doing the bottom, that's what it's doing. So you do if statement to see if either any of those are true.
Mm-hmm.
It'll tell you that someone won, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So you would be calling the methods on the app board, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inside that method. And so if at board dot combined, yeah, equals true, then something, right? I think that sounds right.
But we only need one of them, right? We don't need.
But then
We don't have diagonals, right, implemented in the combined.
it'll check if at board dot combined
We could implement them.
true
Mm-hmm.
or at board dot diagonal,
Mm-hmm.
then return true or false, whatever it is.
And if you
But then it'll only tell you if someone won, it won't tell you who won.
Okay, well, let's get to that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so if board, diagonal. Well, let's do combine. Equals true. Or yeah. Or well, let's do the yeah, so we would do true, right? Well,
do when equals, or you can do a put C1.
we could just to test it. I think he wants to stay away from that. I'm not sure, but let's do it just so that we have feedback. Okay. All right. Let me take out all these other ones so that we don't have any conflicting things. Let's see. So let's see. Puts board wind. All right, here we go. Okay. Undefined method combined for this array. So something is going on here. It's saying that this method, I'm passing it to this, does not exist. Let's see what we got.
What's that combined?
That's combined. Let's see. Did you mean combination? No. Line 100.
It's combined a Ruby
Method.
yeah. Maybe we could try.
It could be, but remember we can override them from last time. Like we could just define it again, like 2S right here. This one is a Ruby method, but we still were able to change it. So I'm guessing there's just something that I'm missing in terms of how this is working, right? Because what we're saying is the instance variable, or like the instance of that board, we're passing it a method inside the class.
Oh, well, we don't have any.
Well, we're defining it up here. That's interesting. I was almost sure that was going to work. Let me see.
Is it when you're calling say you have an integer and you're calling that .toString method, you're passing the 9 to the method and then it's doing all that stuff and then it returns it to you in the string, right? Is that any similar with objects? Like we're passing this object, so therefore we have to have something in our method that gets passed by and then gets worked up and then returns something to us, right?
Yeah, and I
Our
thought
methods don't have anything that gets passed to them.
say that last thing.
Our methods don't have anything that gets passed to them.
Oh, you mean like a parameter?
Yeah. Could that be the issue? But it's an object, can you pass it? Oh.
See, the thing that's confusing me, or the thing that's got me a little, confused is that, for example, it's saying that there's no combine method, right? Right here, undefined method combined. But if I do this, which is definitely calling the combined method.
Is it because we're doing at board instead of board?
Could be. Board.
There's
Yeah,
a difference between the two.
that could be.
Board is a data type and at board is the object. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, yeah, you are. I just don't know.
I don't know.
Let me try it.
Yeah, no. The genuine app, that's okay.
Yeah. I guess that would be a problem for Ramiro to help us out on. Because, yeah, I thought that you could do that because at board combined should return true, right? Because we already have the method and it should call the method. I mean, obviously it's not working. So there's something else at play. Or maybe I just have a typo somewhere. Combined.
It does it in order. Where is the when method compared to the rest of the methods?
At the bottom. So you got, let me see, I can see it right here. See, that's where it is. This is the location, and this is the location.
What is after string? And then do board.combined.
So you say move the when to after toString.
And then do instead of doing at board.combined, just do board.combined.
Okay. I think that will still have the same problem, but I'm gonna try that. Let's see.
Because at the end, you call board.toString, you call the toString method before you call the rest of the methods. When you're testing at the very, very bottom.
Well, I think the way you're looking at it is that when you run this program, it goes through all the methods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it doesn't work that way. The way it works is it just returns whichever method you're calling. Mm-hmm. So, and right here, let's see. Sorry. Right here, the order actually shouldn't matter that much because they're not playing off of each other yet. That's what we were trying to do, actually. Right now, without this, they're all kind of self-contained, each method. But I'm gonna try it out just in case I'm wrong. Let's see. Oh, everything. And let's see. Yeah. So does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah. Usually the order is relevant when it comes to scope, right? Mm-hmm. And so if there's a different order inside the method of lines of code, that's when you get some sort of effect. But yeah, that's a good problem too. I mean, even work when by the time we get here Monday, because I'm gonna work on it and see if I can get it to work. But that is a good idea to check what each method returns, and if any of those returns true, it should have been you win. But I'm gonna ask Ramiro, and I encourage you guys to do so as well. Or maybe I'll probably ask it on Slack, and hopefully he'll respond there. Any other ideas of what we can do?
this point, had everything gone to plan like we needed it to, we would down win, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that's left is to figure out who actually won.
Mm-hmm. So how could we do that? Should we keep track of the players, or we could even do it like based on the turn? Because we already have a variable that changes, right? For the whole class instance, like instance class. So maybe we can base it off of that variable of the turn. Because if turn equals X, that means O just went, right? And if
Or O hasn't gone in the
right,
beginning.
well, it's X's turn, so X will be next, right? That's how we coded it, I think.
Yeah, we coded it with X beginning the turn, X beginning the game. So X gets the first turn.
So I think the way it would work is whenever the win question mark method gets called, if turn equals X, then that means O1. Is that right? Does that sound right to you guys?
The feature is completed the TicTacToe.
Right. So I think once we figure out what's going on here, let's see, and what are we doing wrong here? I think we can add more code to the win and say add another if statement. If at turn equals X, O1, or if at turn equals O, X1.
Isn't X one step ahead of O? So you could check, so if at turn X there's a win, it's X's win because he just went. Wait, no, it isn't. I see.
Yeah, you see, like you'll see it more clearly in like I know what you're talking about, but it's easier to see. Where are the turns? It's easier to see here. So you got play X, right? So X is playing, and at the end of the turn, the turn gets modified to O. So every time X plays, the variable is going to be O. So because the variable is O, X just played. And if the variable is X, O just played. So you see that they're like opposing each other. So I think if over here on the top at turn is O, X just went, which means that if the code returns win true, then O just won. Does that make sense? And I don't know if that's the right implementation. That's what I would try to do. So yeah. That was pretty cool. I mean, we were able to combine several methods and raise some important problems. And I think, honestly, I think we're very close to getting that right.
It's just gotta be some really small.
Yeah. And like, yeah. And I'm sure it's like a easier way to like debug this. Like you probably would know what causes this. Because what it's saying is that the array right here doesn't have a combined method. Right? So like if we do array, let's see, array, wait, let me go to IRB. I think it's an IRB. If we do array, do new methods, you're not going to find a combined method right here. There's only combination. That's why I was suggesting this combination. My assumption though was that because I already had it defined up here, it would add it to itself. So,
What about if you change it to combination? Like it's telling you, you know,
well, it would apply that method, which is something I'm sure completely different. Let's see. First combination. Yeah, so it says it combines the length of all the elements inside the array and then returns the array itself. So it would just do something completely different than, yeah. So I think I'm missing something here that would tell the program that, hey, I don't want a method for an array. I want a method for that is calling the one that I wrote. Because right now Ruby is saying, hey, a board is an array. You're telling me add board is an array, and you want me to pass it a method to that array. I don't see that method. So I'm missing some sort of syntax that is saying I want my method to be applied there, not one from Ruby. So we'll see how that looks like. But I think that's a good place to leave everything. Does anybody have any questions that they're like any concepts that they're not fully getting that we've seen, like maybe not right now, but earlier? Anything like that? Cool. That's a good thing.